forward. Awesome. That way we can have this for later use if we need it. Okay, so welcome to our live power hour. We're just gonna really dive right in from the get-go. I'm gonna hope to do this a little bit differently each time, just so that we don't regurgitate the same power hour every time, keep you guys coming back to experience different vibes. But what I wanted to do tonight, just to kind of get us, because I know a lot of us are transitioning right now from maybe we just put our kids to bed, or we just finished dinner, or cleaning up the kitchen, or whatever the case is, or you just came home from work, you just walked in the door, whatever the case is. I know we're all kind of we're transitioning right now into sort of a business power hour. So what I thought we would do is just start off by sharing what's one thing that's working for you right now in your business. So what's one thing that you've done in the last week that you're proud of, or that, you know, gave you some sort of reward, or a tip that you have to share? I figured we'd start with that, and that would kind of get us into the groove for the business in general for tonight. So does anybody want to start? Does anybody have anything to share?
Sure.
Go for it.
I've been, when I talk to people in real life, and they ask me what I do, or mostly like people ask me what I do, I say, I'm a Beachbody coach. And it used to be that I would be like, oh, I'm this and this and this, and then, and I'm also a Beachbody. And I would kind of like, oh, I'm a Beachbody coach. So I've just been trying to lead with a lot more confidence and like excitement about what I'm doing. And before I used to say I'm trying to make Beachbody my full-time job, and I've stopped saying that. I now just say I'm a Beachbody coach, and like that's what I do. And that has been working for me, and doing kind of like what Jenny, I feel like you've talked before, and Abby talked about this, someone else talked about it too, about kind of like working in blitzes versus trying to do everything every day, and giving myself more grace as far as like, it's okay if I'm not 100% perfect every single day, if I'm like doing blitzes of my activities. But that's been helping. And then that confidence too, carrying that over with my coaches. Like right now I have only one working coach who just joined like 2 days ago, but I've been trying to just treat my whole team like we're a rock star team anyway, like, look what we're doing, guys. And I've actually seen a little more coach engagement in general from my team, just like noticing that they're liking the stuff I'm posting in our group, or commenting on my own personal page and stuff. Like they're kind of like waking up a little, like, wait, what's going on? So that's what's going on for me.
Cool. I love that. I loved your post tonight too about the people holding the rope. That was a good post.
Oh, it was totally based on the Tunny, the Tulin, whatever her name is.
Yeah, I love that video today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that made me, I was just crying watching it, and I'm like, yes, that's why I love Beachbody.
I know. It's crazy awesome. So I got to be in the test group with her husband, who has MS.
Yeah.
Her husband has MS. If you don't follow him on social, it's talk about I cry every time. But his name is kind of spelled funny. It's Karim. I don't know how he says it, but it's Kerim. Karim Emery. And he is super inspiring.
Oops.
He does the workouts his own way, which is cool.
I didn't even know she was like in a relationship, because her social is all just her.
I'm pretty sure that's who it is, unless it's like some other kind of relative, but I'm pretty sure that's
Kerim.
Kerim, yeah. Kareem, maybe that's how he says it. Kareem, or
and what's the last name?
Emery, E-M-R-E. He was in the Shift Shop test group when I was. That's how I got to know him.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Anybody else want to share something they're doing that's working right now, just to kind of get us into the groove for tonight? Those were great tips.
I can share. I will say I'm not great at it yet, but I'm working on, Nicole brought it up in our chat thread, just having a schedule for posting, and trying to be more consistent with that, because I know that as soon as I get busy, and like I was terrible this weekend, I hardly posted at all because we were busy. But trying to have each day, like, here's what I post on Mondays, here's what I post on Tuesdays, here's what I post on 3 days, just kind of a category to have something in mind that even if I don't pre-plan it, I have an idea of what I need to do, and then I can just follow through with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Well, if you guys haven't had a chance to listen to today's National Wake Up Call, it was just today, after all, so you might not have listened to it yet. But I had the fortune of listening to it live, and I thought Meg Kozlowski did an awesome job on the Wake Up Call today. I very rarely go back and listen to the Wake Up Call more than once, and this one is one I'm going to listen to again. I thought she had a lot of great tips and stuff. So I actually have a graphic that she created with her PB&J sort of overview, so I'm going to share that in the team page tonight. But if you haven't had a chance to watch it, it's really good.
I actually typed out her script. Like, I kept pausing and rewinding to write it because I'm like, I have to keep that and use that.
Yeah, feel free to share that with the team too, because I'm sure we're all planning on doing that. Pause, write down, write down. Cool. Anybody else have something they want to share that's working, or something that a tip that they want to share tonight? If not, then what I want to do next might seem sort of random, but I think for me, it's the best way that I have to sort of set my mind right and know what I need to be doing on a broader scale. So what I'd like to do is just take like 5 minutes to jot down. Maybe it's based on the tips that you just heard. Maybe it's a combination of that along with sort of other things that are in your mind. I'd really like for you to just sort of make a list of sort of your big frogs. Like, what are the big tasks that you keep putting off, or that you haven't gotten to yet, or that you're like, oh, I'm going to catch up on that this weekend, or yeah, that email blast that I've been meaning to send for 2 weeks, I'm going to send that, right? Like all those sort of bigger frogs. I'm not talking necessarily about what we're going to do tonight in the Power Hour, which tonight we're going to be focusing on crafting a recruiting post, sending messages, which are invites and follow-ups, and then reaching out to our team. So those things are going to happen tonight in the Power Hour. So anything else that might be like a big frog for you, just take 5 minutes, jot down what those big frogs are, because then you're going to know what your next Power Hour is going to involve. And that way tonight, when you have like an extra 5 minutes during one of the breakouts here, you don't start tackling one of those things. You've got it all figured out. So just take a couple minutes here to kind of write down your big frogs for tomorrow. Just a couple more minutes here. Cool. So hopefully by now you're kind of like in the right mindset, right? So that we can start reaching out to people to get our juices going. So I'm going to give you just 15 minutes. I know that's a large chunk of time, but I want it to include you reaching out to people through forming, like those initial conversations. Maybe you have a goal to reach out to 2 new people right now. I'd like for that 15 minutes to also include some follow-ups. So as many follow-ups as you can do. So we're going to take 15 minutes to do those things. You set your own goals. Everybody's different. And we will reconvene here at 9:30. Ready, set, go. I almost forgot y'all were here. It's like into my messenger, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it was 9:29. So, all right, we're at 9:30. Cool. Okay, so just a couple more things I want to tackle tonight. Since we are putting a focus this month on recruiting, especially in our team calls and whatnot, I wanted to spend a few minutes tonight talking about that and crafting a recruiting style post. So a lot of times when we spend time on these power hour calls, crafting a post, where usually most of the time our end product tends to be like a challenge group invitation. But I'd really like to focus on what it would look like to do a recruitment style invitation. So Wednesday of this week, I'm going to do a webinar all about this. So it's going to be all about branding yourself as a business mentor, branding yourself as a coach who helps other women run a coaching business, not just a woman who runs challenge groups. So what I'm hoping you can do is take one aspect of what we do as a coach and share it. Now, the one I see most often is I love my tribe, join my tribe, that kind of vibe, right? And I think that's a really good one to do, but I think it kind of gets a little bit redundant. So if that's one that you've done recently, maybe go with a different type of post. The things that I like to see are like when you share small financial wins, like being able to pay for your weekend groceries this week, being able to take your family on a trip to Disney, like whatever that spectrum looks like for you, whatever small things the business has afforded to do recently. Those are great stories to share. The fact that you do run a business, you're the CEO of your own business, like you choose what your topic is, but I'm going to give you about 12 minutes or so here, 12 or 13 minutes to craft a post having to do with the fact that you are sort of a girl boss in some way, right? And so how can you invite people into your team and onto your team through a public invite? So here's a few minutes to work on that. I hope I don't interrupt your flow. But another idea of something you could share is also a testimonial of sorts, or you could share about one of your coaches and their business. That's always a good way to show that you mentor coaches, is by featuring one of your coaches. That's another idea. Okay, cool. So just so you guys know, if you are making some sort of income post, or if there's something involving income, you do need to include the income disclaimer. Usually people put that at the very bottom. They'll say something like, I just wrote it online so I can read you what I wrote. Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success. You have to work for it. It's based on any given person's own diligence and skill. So you can look it up if you want the official language. You can look it up, Google it, just search Beachbody legal disclaimer or income disclaimer. But that does need to go on anytime you post about the income side of things. So cool. Okay, so let's use our last few minutes here to do a couple different things. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to check in with your challengers, and then another 5 minutes to reach out to a coach on your team. So we did this a couple weeks ago. Just, I want you to focus on one particular coach. Maybe you go into your downline and you look and see, okay, who do I want to reach out to today? Maybe that's a good way of doing it. Send them a private message, ask them how you might be able to help them or add value to them in some way. But that's what I want you to do for the next 10 minutes. So I want you to I want you to reach out to a coach on your team, and then of course, reach out and check in with your challengers. Here we go. had so many browsers up that it legit just took me a whole minute to find this one. Okay. Okay, you guys. So how confident do you feel about tonight? Do you feel like you made some progress in some way? Good. Cool. Well, if you have not already, make it a priority to listen to the wake up call. There are lots of tips that Meg gave about, I loved her 5-3-1 method, the PBJ, like pretty much everything she shared today was perfection and exactly what I needed to hear. So if you haven't listened to it, make sure that's a priority. And then also from the very beginning of the call, we did the brain dump of the big frogs that we need to tackle. I realized that there might be more than one big frog on your list. So you might have to break it into multiple power hours. But, maybe if you're looking at something daunting, like sending out an email campaign or something like that, maybe you schedule specific time for that. If you know it's going to take you 30 minutes or an hour, maybe you schedule time for that in your next business window. And then you sort of pop those big frogs into your planner. So you guys have heard me say before that a lot of times what happens is I write them down, but I don't write them down in my planner. And so they don't happen because I kind of live by my planner. So if that's you and you need to move those items to sort of an action table of some sort, then feel free to go ahead and do that. But did anybody have any questions or additions or anything they wanted to say? Yeah, Katie, go ahead.
What are some creative ways to end a recruiting post besides like message me now? Because doesn't Facebook still like filter out phrases like that?
Well, so a lot of times what I find is when coaches send me, especially like newer coaches, when they send me their drafts of posts in general, whether it's for challenge group or for coaching, sometimes you don't even need to have a call to action on it. Like sometimes just the act of sharing what you're sharing is kind of enough of a reach out in itself. So my first point to you would be, read it out loud to yourself and say, does this need a call to action? Or am I inviting people to reach out about this with my language? If you need a call to action, then I think what I just used in my post was, let me look really quick. Try not to say things like message me or send me a direct message or whatever. I think I said, if coaching is something you've considered, if building an online business intrigues you, but you don't know where to begin, perhaps we need to talk. So feel free to you can copy and paste mine if you want. I would just kind of stick to that more like authentic sounding, casual statement versus like a message me to chat or message me to ask or whatever. Anybody else have any language tips on that?
I like that. It intrigues you.
Sometimes I'll even say, depending on I think last week when I posted mine about, it was like a team photo and it was a tribe type post. I think I said something about like, why aren't we talking? Like it was more of a question, like why haven't we talked about this, or why haven't we talked about joining my team or something like that, so you can pose it as a question or whatever.
Also, side note, I forgot to like your post, but the post you made with E tonight was so magical. My heart wanted to explode. I like just saw it like quickly as like she's in bed reading.
Yeah, in a rocking chair. Yeah. She's starting to read to us, which is super cute. We had so you guys, big moment for me today. I had a sitter for the first time in Ellery's life. I had a sitter while she was awake, and it wasn't a family member or spouse. So it's a big deal for me. So I'm pretty sure I took it harder than she did. But we've got this awesome chick that's going to come on Mondays. So Mondays are kind of my business day now. So I'm going somewhere to work for like 3 to 4 hours on Monday mornings. Today I ran some errands and stuff, but so it was funny because I came home and Noha was like, yeah, she read me some of her books. And it was funny because I realized in that moment, I'm like, well, I don't know if we've ever given her a chance to read to us. Like, I think we always just read to her. So tonight I was like, do you want to read us a book? And she picked out Goodnight Gorilla, and she crawled up into her rocking chair and proceeded to say a bunch of stuff that didn't sound like words. So just a lot of like, you know, and like turning the pages, but it was cute. I have to consider it a win that she turns the pages the correct way. Like she holds the book the right way and turns the pages the right way. So, and then she points to things in the pictures. So she'll say like blue or purple, like things that she does notice, you know, she'll point out or whatever. So it was a cool moment tonight because she was super sweet and cuddly and into the book. So, yeah. So yay for me getting a sitter and not having a panic attack over it. Okay, so Wednesday nights, my plan is to talk about sort of like this exact thing, kind of what we worked on tonight, like creating recruitment style posts, how to brand yourself as a business mentor. So that's going to be Wednesday nights at 9. Anything else, y'all? Some of you guys are super quiet. Kristen, did you get your kids' lunches packed?
Yes, I did.
Yay.
Yeah, I have one that's gluten-free, and so we pack his lunch every day, and I have one that's just a picky eater, so we have to pack his lunch a few times a week.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm jealous. I have to go do that now. And her school just went peanut free, so there's no peanut butter and jelly. Just think about it.
Oh, Jackie, you should get, okay, so there's this stuff that Ellery loves, and I think it's really good too. It's Yum Butter. So that's the brand name, and they have all different kinds. So they have like peanut, almond, cashew, but they have a sunflower butter, and I'm not a sunflower butter fan. I think it tastes funny, but their sunflower butter is so good. They add goji berry, chia, and I think some hemp seeds to it. So it's got like a little bit of a grittier texture. So it tastes a little bit more like peanut butter. It is so good if you put that on bread with some sort of like low sugar blueberry jelly or, you know, whatever jelly you choose. Ellery's been digging that lately. That's a way to avoid, because sunflower butter is usually allergy friendly.
Yeah, Jackie, I feel you. We are doing this. Sawyer's on a special diet, which usually most of his stuff has some sort of nut in it, since he can't have any grains. And then also, his is peanut free too. So I've been packing him raisins and zucchini chips like every day. He can't have anything else. So we're figuring it out as we go.
That's what me and my ex-husband, we just pack Noah the same dang food every single day, because it's just like peanut free school and gluten allergies and whatever. It's like too hard. Just here's the same thing every day. And I went to Aldi, and Noah was crying because didn't have the same kind of crackers that they have at our regular grocery store. I'm like, well, we need to save money, so we're going to Aldi. Oh.
Yeah, so I saw tonight this it's really a long story, but this Facebook friend of mine, for lack of better terms, she posted that it was Grandparents' Day at school, so she went to her granddaughter's school today for lunch, and they live near Louisville, Kentucky. And I don't think this is normal. I mean, maybe you guys, I might have an out-of-body experience when Ellery goes to school, because I don't know what school lunch looks like, but I might end up being like the next advocate for school lunches or something on national television, because I saw this picture on her social of like, she was like, oh, Grandparents' Day at school. They literally each of them had a piece of fried chicken, cornbread, a little cup of baked beans, some sort of like, you know, those like Dole fruit cups, which make me cringe because they have like corn syrup in them, like, bleh. And then a cookie. I was like, no, like I saw that picture and I was like secretly dying inside. So I don't know what schools are serving these days. Tara, you could probably tell us. How bad is it? Is it pretty bad at elementary school level?
Well, I mean, they have to offer something from each food group, and it's government food. I mean, they have to supply it to millions of kids, so it's not going to be anything wonderful because it has to be cost effective.
Right.
Sometimes the meatloaf looks yellow. Kristen sees school.
I said the intermediate school today. It was disgusting. I wanted to like throw up.
But like
Oh, man.
my oldest at the middle school, well, I think each of the Batesville schools does it. They have a salad bar option. So
Yeah.
they can always eat off the salad bar if they want to.
When I was
Yeah, they're
teaching in Bloomington, they served leftover pizza from lunch the day before for breakfast, along with chocolate milk and chocolate muffins. It was awful. It was.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And ketchup and fries are considered a vegetable on the school lunch programs.
And on chicken
Or
nugget day,
and tomato
it's
sauce.
chicken nuggets, corn. It's like nothing but starches.
I wish we were recording this for the Sneaky Moms group right now.
Well, did you guys remember a few years ago they did a show like Jamie Oliver's Food Revolution where they would go into like
Mm.
I see that where he went into schools and did like total makeovers with their kitchen and gosh. Yeah. I don't know. Well, our babysitter today was like it was so funny because she was like, so what's Ellery gonna eat for lunch? And so I tried to explain it to her and she was like, wow, I've never heard of most of these things. Like, and then I was like, oh, well, they're real foods. So anyway, yeah, that's another topic for another day. I think we can really help a lot of moms in the Sneaky Moms group. I'm excited. I've even been seeing some of you guys post. You know how I've seen like, it was Rose. I don't know who it was. Somebody had taken my post, or several of you had taken the post that I made with an invitation to that group, and then you put your own tip in there. I love seeing those. I was like, holy cow, like these are awesome. Like some of you guys like puree vegetables into marinara sauce, or yeah, I'm already loving the ideas. So that group is gonna rock. There's still time to add people to it, by the way. Okay, you guys, I'm signing off. This will be recorded. As soon as it's up tomorrow, I'll post the recording in the Rank Attack group. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Yeah.